Hugh Janus, born in 1818 and died in 1919, Hugh Janus was raised and later born in Jeopardy, South Fornicatia, and lived most of his life in Shittonwang, DC, after moving there to work at the National Institute for Belly Button Research. He grew up and down in a home where shit music was not only tolerated, but actively encouraged, and learned to play the guitar with his brother before deciding to use a plectrum. Because there was something odd about the way that his brain worked, or more correctly, didn't work, he devised a technique that allowed him to play the guitar while it was still in its case. As a young man, he gave up guitar playing after being told by everyone who ever heard him, and even some who hadn't, that he was fucking shit. He might have stopped playing for good had not an unfortunate meeting put him in touch with Big Harry Ass and Arthur Tallywacker, a pair of record producers whose names were on the lips of many in the music industry. Ass and Tallywacker had been living in a hostel for battered fish and making a living arranging anal cruises for short-sighted tourists, until they were sacked for having stupid haircuts and died in tragicomic circumstances after spending 12.5 months in the Brooklyn State Hospital for the stigmatic. Ass, who was terminally incontinent and suffered severe vaginismus, was hanged by a representative of the Turkish government for wearing a fez hat and short trousers in a public space. Tallywacker died as a result of complications from a bout of numb penis syndrome, in which his nipples exploded following a phantom pregnancy after he'd been shagged by a ghost. According to legend, it was as Janus was rifling through the personal belongings of the legendary producers that he found a business card bearing the legend "Flogging Dead Horses Records," and vowed that one day he would record for the legendary label. Within 2 minutes, the now legendary meeting was over. Janus had recorded a series of soon-to-be legendary hits, including Sunk My Conk and For the Mucker, and Ass and Tallywacker were dead as 2 doornails. Throughout the history of unpopular music, only Nancy Boys and Kitty Litter have demonstrated such a degree of annoyance in their playing, and no other artist has received as many death threats as Hugh Janus. The stupidly named Janus generally played in the shit style, favoured by most dodgy-brained players of his time, but kept the guitar case closed so that his songs were inaudible, and his playing had such an improvisatory feeling that country piddle flayer Dusty Death was prompted to ask, "Is he just making that shit up as he goes along?" His live shows often ended in violence, which was generally caused by Janus pressing himself against the other musicians and shouting, "Damn these tiny stages!" And many concerts closed prematurely because Janus's left buttock fell off and landed on someone in the front row. Janus's career ended in scandal and was mercifully cut short when a stage stunt went hilariously wrong and he disappeared up his own sound hole. Today, Monday, his estate is managed by the renowned entertainment lawyers Eat Shit and Die, who, it is estimated, or more accurately, exaggerated, have earned over $5.5 billion from the Hugh Janus image, with products ranging from crotchless underpants to second-hand toilet paper. In 2020, Eat Shit and Die launched their own brand of soft drinks called Vagini Cola, but this has nothing to do with Hugh Janus, and tastes fucking horrible. Why it is mentioned here is simply because, as horrible as it is, talking about this shit is marginally more interesting than anything connected with Hugh Janus.